Good morning, everyone. This is Paul Combs with Courthouse Direct. Appreciate everybody joining us this morning. I've got Zach White with us, and he's going to monitor any questions that you have. Say hello, Zach.
Hello, everybody.
So pay attention to your control panel that you have there, and if you'll find your question and answer area. If you have any questions as we go along, send those over to Zach, and we'll get those answered before the end of the webinar. Again, appreciate everyone being here today. The purpose of the webinar is really to talk about how Courthouse Direct can help title agents and do their job more effectively. And so our audience today are title plant managers, title examiners, abstractors, escrow officers, and some title agencies owners. And as agency owners, you want to be as efficient as you can be, and hopefully you'll find these tools to help you as a company overall. And we're going to look at a few things. We're going to look at grantor-grantee indexes, both current indexes and historical records, document images, plat and map records, GIS mapping, which is relatively new for us, but we've done a lot in that regard. Our Geo Index title plants, this is our non-insurance access to our geographic databases. Also, we're going to look at our track books and card plants that we have, and then some starters and prior commitments. And we think there's four keys to what we're providing here. One is the accuracy of the data. We are landmen, we are abstractors, and we're title examiners. So these are the tools that we use every day to be able to do our work. And so we want to make sure this data is as good as it can be. And so we work pretty hard to try to enhance the data and make it better. And every day, we're rekeying data and just trying to work with our customers to try to make it better every day. And then the speed of being able to search on our website, I think, is unparalleled, and you're gonna see some of that today. Also, too, as a company, we have more data. That is, we're going into counties and we're scanning the handwritten grantor-grantee indexes, all the deed records, the oil and gas records, all the records we can get our hands on, and making that available to you as a title agent. Also, our coverage, we continue to scan counties, and we have 7 scanning crews at any given time that are in different courthouses or title companies scanning records. So that data continues to grow. Now, this is our homepage for Courthouse Direct, and if you look at the menu bar across the top, primarily what we do is provide document images, grantor-grantee indexes. We also have a tool called property reports, also the GIS mapping, and then the title insurance button really points back to our title agency. We strictly do examination work for other agencies. We don't do escrow in our shop. And then we also have a whole oil and gas division here in our company. So when people use our website, typically they're able to now go in and just put in an address, and then from there they can do a search. Or they could choose to drill down on the map, choose the state and county. Once they choose the state and county, they'll get this grid in front of them, and it'll show them what the different types of records are that we have in the county, also the availability of the data in the county. So for instance, if we're looking at Waller County here, we see that our electronic index starts in 1979, but we also have handwritten grantor-grantee indexes that start in 1837, and they go up to the end of 1978. So you can see how there's an overlap typically, or at least we meet the electronic data with the handwritten data. And again, if we wanted to search by address, and I'm just going to show you a sample here of how we might do that. If I were looking for 806 Main Street, then I would just put in 806 Main, and this is every 806 Main Street that's indexed that we have in the state of Texas. So the account that I'm looking for is the one that happens to be in Round Rock, Texas. So I just click on the property ID number, and then it points me to the page where I have all of this good information that I need to know about. And so if we look down at the bottom, and you'll see different things that are highlighted here. So you see it lists the owner's name, the address of the property itself. We know it's in Round Rock, Texas. And if we kind of move our eyes to the right, we'll see that there's actually an abbreviated subdivision legal description there, which tells us that it's lots 3 and 4 of Block 4 of Nelson Addition. We also see the tax ID number for the property, and then we also see a mailing address. So if the mailing address is different from the owner's address or the site address, we know that that's probably an absentee owner. And you notice too that I've just kind of circled the area that's on the map. And then down below that, there's a couple of buttons there. One is a link to the Google map for the area, and then also a link to the street view. So if I were to click on the street view, now I'm standing in front of the property. So I've gone from an address to the tax information to standing in front of the property that quickly on the database. Now, if I kind of zoom around on the street view and go across the street, I can see all the different, what appears to be kind of a commercial property or some kind of apartment area or something like that. And I can see these overhead power lines. Well, if I'm an abstractor or a title examiner, and I see that there's overhead power lines there, or if I see there's a ditch there, or even like in this case, you see it looks like a little electric box or something kind of over there to the corner. Well, I'm going to pay special attention to that, because when I'm running title, I better find a power line easement there, or there's something else going on. And also too, from there, I can just go and do an overview, a satellite view of the property. And in this case, I can see that there's even a railroad that runs behind the property. So that may be important to me if I need to pull the railroad deed. So, and if I want to pull a document, it's pretty simple. I just click on the real property documents, and on there you'll see there's an available county list. And you can see nationwide, if you look at the top right-hand corner, we have close to 1,300 counties nationwide where we have document images. Well, and if you look at Texas, we have 186 counties in Texas where we have electronic document images where someone can just go in and pull the document. So for instance, if I go into Williamson County, I know that I'm looking for a volume or a clerk file number 2017-40526, then I just enter it, the year and the doc ID number, click on the buy document. If I wanted to charge this to a particular GF number or job number, I would just put it in there where it says client code. And then down below, I would just click on view image, and I've got the image on the screen. So it's about as fast and as quick as that to be able to do that. And then the other thing that we provide are these grantor grantee indexes. So to search the grantor grantee indexes on our website is free. So for instance, if you are a title examiner or a title agency and you bought title evidence in a county where you weren't licensed, but you have someone kind of hinting, well, there might be an IRS lien against these people, or you're wondering, hey, did they pick up that other deed of trust or that other mortgage or something, then you can go in there and double check it. Not that you're going to double check the work that you're getting from another title agent, but to have a resource at your fingertips to be able to do that is pretty handy. So for instance, if I go into Waller County here and I wanted to run the name James Williams, that's a fairly common name. So, and you notice what I'm doing is I'm searching under the party name rather than searching under the grantor or grantee. If I search under the party name, I'm looking for both grantor and grantee. So when I run that search, it's going to come back, and you can see this is significant in that it shows the through date of the database itself. So if you're wondering, well, how current is the data? When you do the search, it's going to show you the through date. And I can see there's 2 pages of information. I can see that we found 150 records for James Williams. Again, it's a fairly common name, but what I knew is that James Williams owns some property, let's say in the Cooper survey. So what I can do is hit the back button on the browser, and under the sub search, I can put in the word Cooper and say, go find everything with James Williams that matches Cooper. So I do the search again, and very quickly you can see it matches everything that has Cooper in it. Now, if Williams did some business with someone named Cooper, then Cooper would show up in the grantee column or the grantor column, depending. And so again, this sub search capability on our site is extremely powerful, because let's say, for instance, I was looking for a Cooper that had a 24.5 acre tract. I could have put, Williams that had a 24.5 acre tract. Under the sub search, I could have put in 24.5, and it would have pulled those up. And let's say, for instance, I want to pull these documents. You notice I've clicked the boxes along the left-hand side, and it adds these into this into my view document area. And so I can just click on the documents and then view the documents. And before I go farther, I can see that I have a choice of how I want to view these documents. I could view them in a TIFF image, or I could choose to view them as a PDF. I also have the option of being able to download multiple documents to a zip file. So if I wanted to send these to someone, I could zip them up and then just it makes the file much smaller. And then also too, down below, if I wanted to email this run sheet or excuse me, this list of documents to myself, I could just click on email receipt and it would just email these to me along with the hyperlinks to the document. You can also look at your history of the downloads that you have. So if you say, hey, I want to look at this list of documents I ordered today because I don't know where I saved a particular document, you could click on that document history. So again, I click on the view image, I'm viewing the document, and then I move on and do whatever else I want to do. And also to another tool that we've built, we've had this on our website, but we've done a lot of enhancements to it in the last 2 or 3 months. And so from here, I can look up taxpayer information. And if you notice when you're looking at the screen, you can see here's the state of Texas, and you can see certain counties that are colored in a light blue. We'd love to have an entire state colored in a light blue, but essentially what this is where we've taken the tax information and we've overlaid that onto the Google map. And then you see all the pump jacks, all the oil wells out there. With those, we do a lot of work in the oil and gas industry. So wherever you see the oil and gas wells is where we have pipeline data and we have oil and gas information that we receive from the Railroad Commission or we receive from the General Land Office. So that, again, trying to give a one-stop shop for the people that are doing the searching here. So there's a couple ways that I can search. I can choose to search by the county. So I can just choose the drop down, choose the county, click the go button, then it drops me right down in the county, and you can see it highlights the boundary of the county. And also too, I could search by zip code. So you notice on the right-hand side, I'm putting in zip code number 77479, and then it's going to make a drawing around that area that falls within that zip code. And so as I drill down on this map, you can see that there's these green lines that are going across the map here, and those are pipelines. And then you see all the green dots that are down below, those are oil wells. So again, Fort Bend County happens to be a suburb of Harris County, and you have a lot of recorded subdivisions over there, but you also have kind of southwest of the county, a lot of oil and gas activity, and that's kind of what we're showing here. So again, as I'm drilling down to the county down on the map itself, and I'm interested in, let's say, either a pipeline or a parcel, you'll see a pop up and it'll say, are you interested in this pipeline, or in this case, maybe interested in the parcel? Well, if I say, well, I'm interested in the parcel, then if you notice on the right-hand side, it's going to bring up the tax information for that parcel. So I can see that this property that I've chosen down here with the little blue teardrop is a Kyle Jones and a Nishtat Jones. And then also too, I can see the actual deed number of the property. So now whether or not that's the current deed or not, you'd have to do the research and figure that out. And then below that, you'll see it says view associated plat maps. Now this is really exciting, and it's not in all the counties that we have it, but let's say, for instance, that I did want to go to the next page and I clicked on that view associated maps. There's a couple of options that I have here. One is to view it in the GIS, and the other is to actually download this file. So you can see I'm kind of putting these side by side, and you can see when I click on view on the GIS map, you can see it's highlighting the actual area of the map itself. And then I clicked on the other button, which was download the actual subdivision plat, and there's the recorded subdivision map. So again, I'm able to drill down on the property, click on the property, and pretty quickly be able to pull up the actual subdivision plat. Now, right now, this functionality is only available in Fort Bend County, and we're kind of previewing this, but we hope to, within the next 30 to 60 days, have this in all the major counties in Texas, which we know for our surveying clients and a lot of our title insurance clients, they're absolutely going to love it, because you can just put in a zip code, boom, you're on the area, then you're pulling up the map, which is really cool stuff. And we also have some other tools on here which are kind of nice. And one is kind of a measurement tool. So essentially, I can put a box around an area, and I'm going, well, I'm not really sure how much that acreage is, but I want to kind of measure it. And you can just kind of click around it, and then you can get this. I can see it's a 14.46 acre tract, and I tell you that comes pretty close to. You'll look at that and go pull that deed for that property. It might be 14.5 acre, but it's going to be pretty darn close. And then also too, this is really for your sales team at your title agency, and that is sometimes you're dealing with a real estate person that is what we call farming an area. That is, they're trying to send out mailers to the people that live in an area so that people are aware that they want to put their house for sale. They might want to keep that realtor in mind. So we have a tool here. Again, wherever you see those counties that are highlighted in the light blue, essentially what we've done is create the ability to generate mailing labels. So if you kind of look at the top left-hand corner, it says multiple parcels selected, and that's what I've done is just selected kind of an area here by drawing a box, and then I clicked on the mailing labels, and then it says, okay, you selected 400 accounts, and if you want to print out these mailing labels, it's going to cost $60, and then you can just click the generate button and you're generating the mailing labels. So again, I don't think this is something that a title agency necessarily is going to use, but when you're out there marketing to your realtors or whoever it might be, let's say someone owns a retail operation in an area and they want to kind of send a notice out to people that live in the area. A real good way to be able to do that through the mailing label function within the GIS. So that kind of covers the GIS. I want to jump into the historical file viewer area. And to get into the file viewer, there's a couple ways to get there, but along the left-hand side, if you see Texas, you'll see the button that says historical maps and plats. And again, what we do is we go into counties and we scan records. But before we do that, we go in and build an inventory so we know we're not missing any records. So we build the inventory, we send the scanners in there with their cameras, and sometimes we can use high-speed scanners, and other times we have to use these high-resolution cameras. And then once we scanned it, then we have to post-process it, get rid of all the black borders so it's small enough to be able to be sent over the internet. And then we're indexing those records to make it easier to find the information. And then we have a whole quality control team that is looking at the data as it comes through the door. So if we wanted to get to these historical records, but you're asking yourself, well, I wonder if they have what I need in this particular county. There is an area within this file viewer area where I can click on this button that says, do we have what you need? It'll bring you to this page, and I want to point out that along on the side under which it says definitions, if it's labeled as deeds, essentially it means it's a document. If it's labeled as a GG, it essentially means it's an index. It could be an oil and gas index that's labeled as a GG, but it's an index. And then we also, within these records, have probates, and then maps, and then tax. We have some tax maps and tax cards. That's kind of like Jefferson County, Tarrant County. Those are really helpful. And then we also have the historical title plants, where we've gone in and scanned these title plants in different counties with the agents that are local to the area. So again, if I drill down on here and I say, well, I'm really interested in Wise County, I can see that it's on page 165 of this PDF that I brought up. If I just clicked on Wise County, it would bring me down to this area on the page, and I can look at this and say, well, what do they have in Wise County? Well, they've got the Grantor-Grantee Index that goes back to 1843. They've also got deed records that go back to Volume A, which is 1856. And then I can also see that those records go to 1982. And then I can also see there's oil and gas records and so on. In this case, you'll notice down below it says deeds _ real property, Volume 1 through 525, 1982 to 1993. So you can see how some clerks, they move from a deed record to a real property record, and then they typically go to an official record. But again, our goal when we go into a county is to scan every piece of paper in the county. The only thing that we may not scan is the probate minutes, because you'll have a whole wall of probate minutes. But what we try to do is we try to index or scan the probate index in the county. So even though we may not have the images, if you know, oh, here's the probate, here's the cause number for the probate, then you can order the will will in order, whatever it is you need. And so just going into the file viewer, you can see all the list of all the different folders along the left-hand side. And I will tell you that this is the largest collection of real property information in the state of Texas for historical records. There's nothing that even, I think, comes close to what we're looking at here. And as we go into each county, you'll notice again that we have the handwritten grantor grantee indexes. Every county indexes things a little bit different. You kind of see in some counties where the handwriting will change because you got a different clerk or a different deputy that's writing in the book. And you'll notice that along the left-hand side that we've created these kind of sub-indexes within the index itself. So instead of having to flip through all these pages to figure out where you should be, then we've created these kind of underscore, and then you jump down to the page that you need. And then the deed records, again, they typically go all the way back in the county. This happens to be a patent, that's, I think it was filed, I guess 1926. And then also the oil and gas records that go all the way back for minerals, and then the oil and gas leases. And again, it's and then the other resource that we have are the Plat records. And we know we've always done work for surveyors, and we know that a surveyor, if he's going to look at a Plat, he needs to be able to look at every little pen stroke on the Plat. So not only do we make sure that we get the copy of the Plat, but we're also going to pick up any dedicating language for the Plat itself. And then also, too, we are scanning tract book plans. So, and it's kind of funny, I'll talk to someone and say, well, here's the tract book, and we know that I've got highlighted here tract 2B, 2F. Well, that was probably tract 2 at one time. It covered a large area. Then it was 2B, and then that was cut up, and then it was cut to 2B2, and then 2BF. So, and someone might look at this and say, well, that's not very pretty. Well, for a title person, an abstractor, examiner, this is really beautiful, beautiful stuff. So I can look at this, and in this case, I can look at a patent that was filed here starting in 1898, and then I'm running my chain forward from there. So, and then the other thing that we're scanning is card plants. So, card plants, once you scan them, you don't get the cards out of order. So, we go in and scan these card plants, and what's kind of cool is that when you're in those plants and you're flipping through the cards, you can flip through them actually quicker than you could if you physically had them in front of you. So, and that's kind of, again, the beauty of scanning these records. It preserves the records for the owner of the title agency, and it makes sure that the data stays in order. And of course, people that sometimes allow other people in their plant that are not as respectful of the data may not put things back in just perfect proper order. And again, I mentioned that we do go in and scan the probate indexes, maybe not always the probate minutes, but the probate indexes, and we go, in this case, it goes back to, it looks like volume 1. And so the other great thing that we have for title agents is the fact that we've gone in and scanned starter files, and we have over 2 million starter files in our collection here. So to get to the starter files, you can just click on the top left-hand button there that says Starter Base Plats Master. And when you click on this, this is kind of a sequence of things that you would see. But so you have the Starter Plat Master. Then there's also a button just below it that says Additional Counties. So when I click on Additional Counties, these are, you might call, smaller counties within Texas. And then that first column is the larger counties. So but if you're looking for a starter file and you don't see the county listed in that initial group, then jump over to the additional counties and you'll see that. And then typically the third column there, you see starters are typically broken down by the subdivision or the survey. So 99% of the time we're interested in the starters that are in the subdivision. If you find a starter that is in the survey, that is wonderful if that happens, but it's more of a shot in the dark because, again, it's acreage tract. The likelihood you're going to land on that acreage tract for that file that you're working on is less likely. And again, I just picked this Dow Lake addition in Dallas County. You can see the first thing that shows up there is the subdivision plat itself, and then from there you can see the list of all of the different commitments that are in our database that came out of this particular subdivision. So that happens. I don't know if we have every lot in the subdivision, but it looks pretty close there. So from there, I would be able to just pick on whatever lot it might be. jump down to Schedule B. That's what we're usually most interested in. And then I'm looking at Schedule B from the commitment. So again, it's just going to that folder and then picking up whatever it is. So let's go ahead and do some searching here. So I'm going to minimize this screen and just go back to Courthouse Direct. And the first thing I want to do is just show you how easy it is to pull a document. So again, I'm just going to go to this Real Property tab, and then I'm just going to scroll down to Current Documents. And then from here, it's just an informational page. But what I'm really interested in is Brazos County. So I'm just going to go down to Texas, and I'm going to pick the county. So I'm going to pick Brazos. And you notice that it's asking me in Brazos County the volume and page of the book. So I'm going to go 9311, and I'm looking for page number 204. And if I wanted to, again, put the GF number in, I could put it in there, but I'm just going to say by document. So it's downloading the copy. Some of these documents are on servers that we own and or have in California. Then some of them are local. So sometimes it takes a little longer to download. And you know what? I noticed that I actually put in the wrong volume and page number. So this may not even come up. Well, it did come up, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and click on View Image. So there's my document there. Why don't I put in the right page, volume and page that I had before? So I'm looking for 9311, and then I'm looking for page number 204, and I'm going to say by document. And again, that one popped up really fast. So there's my document right there. So as quick as you can put in a file number is about how quickly you can pull up the documents. And so if I want to jump to another county, I could just go, okay, well, I'm trying to find something in Dallas County. Again, I'm going to just choose to drill down to Dallas here. And what I'm looking for is a year and doc ID number. Now, you notice that you have this little drop down here, and you can see kind of how some of these things are differentiated. So for instance, what I was looking for was a file number in 2016. So I need to choose the folder where the 2016 data is going to be. So in this case, I'm just going to put in the year number, which is 2016. And then I'm going to put in the file number of the document, 48811, and just say by document. Again, very quickly it comes up. I can view that document. So again, if you're not licensed in the county and you need to get to pull a document, it's that easy to pull it. Something to really think about, I think, as the agency owners here is that if you have again, you don't want to turn your escrow officers into researchers by any means, but if they could pull their own documents and you have the ability as a subscriber to Courthouse Direct to be able to get everyone listed in the company that you want to get listed. But if your escrow officer just needs a copy of a document and they can just go in there and pull the document instead of having to call back to the title plant for the title plant to pull the document, there might be a certain efficiency that's gained by that. So, but certainly, everyone kind of has to make their own choice on that. But again, I'm just, adding just another document that I might want to pull and just say, go get the document. So boom, view image. So again, if I'm not licensed, if I bought title evidence in the county, I'm not licensed in, but they didn't send me a copy of the IRS lien, or they didn't send me a copy of the deed restrictions, and someone's asking for that, if I can go in here and just pull those documents, then that's going to make me a lot more effective. Again, if I wanted to download these to a zip file, I could choose to do that, and those would all stay together. And then if I wanted to jump to the county page from here, I could click on that county homepage, and that'll show all the different types of data that I have in that particular county. So we're in Dallas County, so let's just do a grantor grantee index search in Dallas County. So I'm going to choose grantor grantee. Again, it has that information page, but it knows I'm in Dallas County, so it went ahead and defaulted Dallas County. Again, I want to do that search again, Smith, Ronald, and say search Ronald Smith, and I'm going to look for everything with Ronald Smith in Dallas County. That's a fairly large search. It comes up with 1,162 records. We see the data is current through March 9th of 2018. We has a drop down here of 12 pages because we display 100 records to a page. But let's say, for instance, I knew I'm going to hit the back button on the browser one time, and I knew that he owns some property in the Pleasant subdivision. So I'm just going to go in here, and say, go find everything that's in Pleasant subdivision that matches against Ronald Smith, and it's going to look through the database, and you see the colors that are matching across there. So it's essentially saying, yeah, I found a good hit, and I found everything with Ronald in Pleasant. Or I could hit the back button on the browser, and I know that he took a loan out with GMAC, so I'm just going to put GMAC, go match everything with Ronald Smith and GMAC. So boom, I've got it. And this really allows you to just kind of find that needle in a haystack. You know, if you're looking for something, you know the guy did some, you know that the city of Dallas did some business with someone named Jones, match up city in Dallas and Jones, and boom, you got whatever it is you're looking for instead of spending a lot of time elsewhere. And then let's say, for instance, I wanted to do a new search, but I wanted to go to a different county. Let's say I want to just jump over to Travis County and pull something. Again, I just choose to go to the county, Travis. In this case, I'm going to look for a party name, and I'm looking for Cooper. And if I pull up everything in Cooper, that's a pretty common name, and but I want to just run it anyway, just to see what comes back here. We have a limit on the search results on the grantor grantee to 5,000 results. So there may be more than 5,000 Coopers, so I may have done too large a search here. We'll see. We'll give it just a second. Okay. So we did go over 1,000. So if I wanted to know how current that was, I could jump down to the very last page, page 50. But if I hit the back button one time, and I know that Cooper owns some property in the Jester subdivision, then again, what I can do is say, go match everything with Cooper and Jester, and you see how fast those results come back? So it's just very powerful to be able to do that. And let's say, for instance, I'm interested in deed restrictions in Jester Estate subdivision. We know that typically, if I'm looking for Jester Estates, and I'm looking for deed restrictions, then I'm either going to run the grantor index or the grantee index. So, and again, this is a subdivision name, and so I'm going to say, go find everything with Jester Estates, and you can see how it's going to find, here's your restrictions. I could, again, take that same name, just run the party name, Jester Estates. Again, it's looking through the grantor and grantee index, and typically that's where that data is going to show up. So so let me jump over to the GIS mapping. So if I go here to GIS mapping, again, I could pick any of those tabs there, and then I'm going to drop down to the map itself. So again, as I mentioned on the PowerPoint, anything that's colored in the light blue is areas where we have tax information overlaid on the Google Sheets. And let's say, for instance, along the right-hand side, I can choose to search by the county, or I can search by the zip code. And again, there's another kind of button to the left of the search area, which is oil and gas, which really is kind of, that's part of the GIS map is geared toward the oil and gas industry. But in this case, let's say I'm looking to go to Tarrant County, so I'm just going to choose to go down to Tarrant. I'm going to click the go button. It's going to bring me into Tarrant County. You can see how that county is highlighted there. And from here, let's say, for instance, I knew the zip code on the property, so I'm just going to go down to that zip code. So I'm going to go down to 76013, go find that property on the map. So again, it's going to highlight, just that property on the map. And from here, I can just kind of drill down, keep drilling down to whatever the area is that I'm interested in. And as I drill down, I can say, well, yeah, that's a property that I'm needing there. So I can just select that particular property. There's a teardrop again at the very top left-hand corner. It says select single parcel. So I'm going to select that parcel. So when I select it, you can see it says Newport Investments, LLC. We can see here's the actual file number. It looks like for the document itself. And so actually what I'm going to do, you notice I'm highlighting the file number here, and I'm going to copy that file number. And because I'm on a new tab, I can just go back into the into Courthouse Direct, and I'm wanting to pull this particular document. So I'm going to go to Real Property Documents, Current Documents. I'm going to go into, I was in Travis, but I want to go to Tarrant County. In this case, I want to pull just that document there. Well, let's see here. Let me go to my, really what I meant to do is actually go to the Grantor Grantee Index. So let me do that. So I'm going to go to Grantor Grantee. I'm in Tarrant County. And we do have a spot down here that says doc ID number. So I'm going to paste in that doc ID number. And so I go to that doc. Well, I thought that was going to work, but it didn't. So, and it just may be the way I'm pasting this in here. I'm maybe not picking up the numbers just right. But again, from here, I should be able to go to the actual document itself. And what we hope to do is make it so from this map, you could actually click on the file number and then just go straight to the document. That's kind of a phase 2 of what we're doing here. But again, any of these particular tracks I'm interested in, I could just click on the track, and it's going to give me information about that particular taxpayer. And typically, your taxpayer may be the owner, may not be, but again, that's a pretty darn good starting point for you. So in this case, I'm gonna jump over to another county here. So I'm going to zoom, and I'm going to go to just go to Gonzales County. And I know if you're a commercial examiner, then if you see a pipeline that's in your area, you're going to want to know about that pipeline. So this is a fairly active oil and gas area over here in Gonzales County, and you can see all this directional drilling that's going on. So you can see how the bottom of the hole is here, but you see the actual platform where they're doing the drilling is way over on the right-hand side. But if this is the pipeline I'm interested in, I can just click on that. I can just click on the pipeline, and it'll highlight that pipeline. And then on the right-hand side, I can click on Pipeline Report, and it'll tell me that this is an 18-inch diameter pipeline, that it runs for a distance of 10.3 miles. I can see it's owned by Koch Pipeline. And if I wanted to research that, again, from here, if I was going to do a new search, and I went to Gonzales County, and I wanted to run that party name, then I can just paste that name in. It's going to pull all the activity with Koch Pipeline on it. And this may be a situation where someone else actually acquired the parcels, and then Koch Pipeline bought that from them. But to be able to jump, from the actual GIS map to a search is really pretty handy to be able to do that. So I'm gonna do one more zoom here, and I'm gonna put in a zip code, and this time I'm gonna put in 77055, and I'm just gonna show you how to download mailing labels. So again, we've jumped into an area here. I'm just gonna zoom down to an area. And let's say, for instance, I've got a realtor that I'm working with, and I know they work this particular area. I can show them, well, you can select these multiple parcels here because you want to do a mailer to those folks. And you notice on the right-hand side, there's a button that says Mailing Labels. It's going to say you've selected 215 records to do the mailing labels, $32. Boom, there's your mailing labels right there. So again, just a good tool to be able to kind of show your customers how, another resource for them to be able to do their work. So again, I'm going to go back out, and I'm going to go back to my home button because I want to pull some starter files. So if I go to along the left-hand side, again, if I go to historical records here, and then as I mentioned, we want to go to the very top left-hand corner of this folder to be able to pull a starter file. So as the data is loading here, if I go to starter basis Plat's master, and I knew that I was looking for Comal County, so I just click on Comal County. I knew this is going to be a subdivision I'm looking for. And let's say, for instance, I'm looking for Deer Meadows. So I'm going down here. There's Deer Meadows subdivision. And again, there's my plat, so I can view the plat. Yes, that's the property I'm interested in, and that looks good. And let's say, here's my title commitment that I'm interested in. So I'm going to look at this commitment, and then I'm going to jump over to Schedule B, and I'm going to say, okay, it's referencing a volume 331, page 193 for these deed restrictions. So again, what I want to do is just back out, just like you do on any kind of folder tree. So you want to close that, so when you come back, it's not open again. And then I want to go down to Comal County, so I'll just go to Comal. And then I want to pull this particular document, which was volume 331. So this is like pulling a book off the shelf. It's just as easy or as as simple as that. So I want to go down to page number 193. There's my document. You see how the numbers kind of jump here? You can kind of tell that that's probably a 3-page or 4-page document, and you can see that's a 2-page document. So what we do is we staple these documents together. You typically scan them as individual images, and then we do kind of a stapling technique where we put those together. So again, if I'm looking for 193, then there's my restrictions that were referenced in the reference within that title commitment. So again, just trying to make this kind of where you're able to pretty easily move from a reference on a commitment to pulling an older record in the county. And let's say, for instance, I was wanting to maybe do some grantee searching, and maybe I'm looking in Bastrop County. So I'm going, okay, well, I'm in Bastrop County, and what am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for a grantee, and I know I'm looking for something in these older records here. So I'm just going to keep drilling down to whatever it is I might be looking for. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to look under the letter D here, and I'm going to look at the actual index. You can see that's a pretty clean index. I mean, when we shoot these copies, we're using these high-end cameras to be able to shoot this. And so, if I'm looking for, let's say, something under the, DEN, for instance, which it should be on page 55, you can see we have _5, _10. So what we're doing is trying to make it a little easier to be able to drill down to whatever area. And if I'm looking for page 55 on the index, there's my index right there. And then from there, if I said, okay, well, I know that I need to pull that patent, which is volume 75404, then I can just kind of back out, go all the way out. I want to find my deed record, so I'm just going to go to my deed. There's oil and gas. People are going, there it is, 75404. There we go, and there's our patent right there. So, so again, it's trying to make the indexes so they're a little easier to get to whatever it is you're looking for. So, kind of in our last minutes here, I'm going to jump into the title plant, and we know that we have people that may be on the line today that do not subscribe to our title plants, and so this is what we call our Geo Index Access to our databases. So even though you're not a subscriber to Courthouse Direct, to Integrity Title, you still have access to our databases if you choose to use them. And of course, we love our databases because we know how powerful they are. And I just want to show you, for example, I had my IT guy walk in my office. It was probably about 4 months ago, and he said, Paul, he said, I want you to run Lot 1 in Harris County. And I said, okay, Lot 1. So now give me the subdivision or the subdivision name and the block number, and I'll do that. Well, he said, don't put in a subdivision or block, just put in Lot 1. And you can see the results that just popped up on the screen there. Over 1 million results for Lot number 1 in Harris County. And I'll tell you, I just about fell out of my chair. I've never seen a database that allows you to be able to pull up that large of a set of records. I just never seen it in the whole time I've ever worked in this industry. And not that you're going to run Lot 1 in Harris County. I mean, that's not practical. You would do that. But again, what I'm really trying to show you is that how you can take this search engine that we've built to be able to do your job or to be able to go through this very large set of data and find out whatever it is you're looking for. But a more traditional search that you would do in our database would be, let's say, for instance, I'm looking for Walnut Place, Walnut Place, and I'm looking for lot number 1, and I'm looking for, let's say, block 1. So I'm just going to say, go find everything with lot 1, block 1. So it's doing its traditional search here, and it's going to just kind of build the database for everything in lot 1, block 1 of Walnut Place. And so, which is kind of funny, it takes longer to search that than it does to search all of lot 1. But here's 14 records that will be coming back here. And essentially, sometimes it's actually building a web page behind the scenes. It's almost like it's already done the search. It's just needing to, create something that you can view. So let me just pull that up. So that's everything with Walnut Place. You can see, an original easement that was there. Here's my chain of title. I'm needing to, build my run sheet. So I'm going to click Add All, and then I'm just going to, and then I've got a name here. I'm wanting to search. I see there's a deed into this Anil Menon. You notice I can just click on his name, and then just hit the search button. It'll actually run that search immediately. And what I'm interested in are the things that are in Walnut Place. So I'm just going to say, add those Walnut Place properties to my search here. And then, for instance, if I wanted to run this Steve Folk's name, then I can just click on that name. I might even want to take some letters off of here and then search it again. So you can see how you can very easily be able to put it, click on a name, run the search, and then be able to add that information into your report. And let's say, for instance, I'm ready to view my report. Here's my run sheet, and then I could just add this information, pull the documents that I want, and then save those. And we've kind of added some functionality on our site that allows you to track searches that you've done previously, and then you notice if you look across the top all the different filtered searches that we have. And so, but a kind of a more practical search you might do on a property in Harris County might be looking for everything out of a survey. So I'm just going to go back out and then come back into Harris County, like doing a new search here. And I'm going to search again under the legal description. In this case, I'm going to be looking for everything out of the Thomas Hogan survey. So I'm going to take out the lot number and block number here and just go find everything that's out of Hogan. So it pretty quickly says it found 3,400 and something records, 461 records, and it's going to allow me to look at 35 pages here at 100 records a page. Well, I don't know that I want to look through whatever that is, 35 pages, but what I can do is choose the drop down on and be able to view 500 records on a page. It's pretty amazing actually how your mind or your vision can actually look at a lot of records at one time, and being able to, because typically as a searcher, you're looking for a certain doc type, or you're looking for a certain name or something like that. Well, what's kind of cool is that, think about this, I'm on a Chrome browser, which we normally recommend for our databases, but if I just hit the Control F button and I say, well, what I'm looking for on this page is somebody named Scoville. So I'm just putting in S-K-O-V. You notice that we're using the browser, power of the browser to be able to highlight anything that's got S-C-O-V on it. And as I scroll down here, you can notice on the right-hand side, you've got these little tabs on the right-hand side that show you that in yellow what's on the page. Or I could just put anything in here. I could say, find anything on the page that's got the word first in it. So again, it's finding everything on here. It highlights it with the word first. So now I'm displaying 500 records on a page instead of having to look through whatever was 35 pages. Now I'm only looking through 7 pages to find whatever it is I might be searching for. So then another, just kind of to show you another kind of cool thing in terms of the power of the database is that, let's say, for instance, I'm doing a search and I'm in Dallas County and I'm about to start my run sheet that I'm going to be building in the county. But what I'm really interested in initially is to know what are the Schedule B items that are in this particular area that I'm going to be searching. And so I'm clicking on my new report. It says wait. I'm not very patient, so I'm just going to I'm just going to come back in. I want to go there. So I want to go to Dallas County. Search without a GF number. Typically, you'd put a GF number, but what I'm interested in is everything out of 84126. In Dallas County, you search by the volume and page recording of the plat, and I'm looking for everything in 1947. So that's volume 84126, page number 1947. Go find everything out of there. Well, it's found 6,059 records. That's a lot of records. I'm really not going to look through all those, but what I see at the very top here is I say there's the plat, there's the deed restrictions. If there were any easements, they're typically going to show up at this time. You're not going to dedicate a streetlight easement usually 2 years after you dedicate the plat. I mean, usually all that happens at the same time. So again, the idea here is that if you can pull up that many records at 6,000 records when the plat originally is filed in the county, then you're going to see most of those Schedule B items are going to show up right at the top. And then from there, you know, if you see, okay, XYZ company is the one that's actually doing the dedication of the plat here. I want to run that entity. Then from there you could just do the search and then run that entity. So again, you know, I might be looking for the deed into them before they actually platted the property. So again, that's just another good resource there. So I'm kind of running against the clock here, and so I'm going to ask you, Zach, do you have any questions from any of the attendees?
Yeah, actually, I do have one. I think this might have been something you covered, but I'll ask again just in case we didn't cover it. This person says they have a title plant account with us, but they want to know if they can use their credentials for CHD as well.
Yeah, and that's really the purpose here is that people are not going to get licensed in every county per se, but they want to be able to use these other resources that are available. So anybody that subscribes to Integrity Title Plant, they also, that same username and password that they're using on Integrity Title will also work on courthousedirect.com. And in fact, we give special pricing to all title agents. So you know, you may see an advertised price up here for courthousedirect.com, but we do have kind of a special pricing for title agents, and we just encourage you to reach out to us, and we can kind of talk to you about that if you're not if you're not on Courthouse Direct.
Okay, great. So the second question we have was back when we were on the grantor grantee indices. This person was asking about the blue fields versus the white fields that you had. I think this was in Dallas County we were looking at.
Right. So let me kind of explain that if I can. We have a lot of our customers that are oil and gas customers, and so they were wanting to, they wanted access to our title plants, but they really didn't want to have a monthly fee because they know the specific area that they're searching. So, for instance, if I go here to, let's say, Reeves County, you know, large county, but or a big oil and gas county, probably the hottest oil and gas county in Texas. Well, we built a sovereignty title plant in Reeves County. So if somebody is wanting to do a search in Reeves County, we do give them the option of being able to put in a section and block number. So in this case, if I were running section number 15 and then block number 4 in Reeves County, then if I click on the search button, it's going to pop up and say, well, there's going to be 271 results from this, and you would pay $20 plus 10 cents per record if you want to purchase that. And then people say, yes, continue. So essentially what this is, it's an extract out of the title plant that allows you to pull up that information. Now, if you're a title agent that's on the phone, you know, I don't know that you necessarily want to be paying ad hoc or by the search for searching, but this was a tool that we built for people that want to be able to search by a legal description. Then again, let's say, for instance, you are you're doing some kind of foreclosure report in a county you're not licensed in, but you want to just see, you want to run a legal description search, but you're not licensed in the county and you're not accessing our Geo Index for Courthouse Direct. Then certainly you have that capability to be able to run that search. So again, it's just another tool, for our companies to be able to research. In fact, I'm going to go back and just go to Dallas County, kind of where I was before. But if I go to Dallas County and I wanted to run because we do have a lot of people that are doing like foreclosure work, but they're not, they're just not licensed in that county. If I were going to do that same search again, 84126, and then the page number is page number 197, and then the lot number is, let's say, lot number 7, and then block 11, and say, okay, go find that record right there. Again, the same concept is going to say, okay, you found 57 records at $10.70. It's worth it to go ahead and pull up your chain of title in a legal description search. So then you can see, okay, here's my first record. And in essence, this would be the same search you'd be pulling back out of the title plant. It's just displayed in a grantor-grantee format. So anyway, I would just encourage y'all, if y'all have any questions, to reach back out to us. Zach, go ahead and give your direct line number if you don't mind.
Certainly. People can reach me directly. My phone number is 713-683-4050. And then also by email at zwhite, W-H-I-T-E, at courthousedirect.com.
And any of y'all can reach us, any of our customer service crew, at information@courthousedirect.com. That'll go to several people here, and I think people that work with us know that we're pretty responsive, or at least we try to be. And we are recording this particular webinar, so if you have people that on your staff that were not able to attend, or other people that are interested in the information that we provided today, then we'll be sending out at least a link to the recording information. So again, really appreciate everybody joining us today. Hope I was talking fast here because, and I don't normally talk fast, but I was talking fast because I had a lot of information to convey to y'all, and I really appreciate y'all taking the time. And again, however we can help you, please let us know, and we'll look forward to visiting with you soon. Thank you.